Good morning, everybody. Another beautiful morning down here in West Cork. What a great day to be out working. But it's the working that's the problem. This is back-breaking work. There is a lot of stones in the ground. That'll show you how hot it is. Rooney just sees nice cool patch there. Still very hot. Probably yesterday was the hottest day of the year. We see how hot it gets today. This ground is difficult. I think the name of this area is Little Stony Wood or something like that. So all the ground has these rocks in it, which make it very difficult to shovel. So the clay gets compressed as well, and it is like a very light concrete, but it's just compressed clay and these rocks. There's a lot of metal here. We had heard rumors that there was a car here at one point, so these might be lots of bits of cars. This is that's cast iron. I don't think that's off a car. It might be off some sort of a lift. And there's lots more bits here, so that's also making it a bit difficult to dig out. There was plastic put on the ground, and there's years and years of compost fallen from the trees above. That all has to be pulled out. We are going to continue this footing here to about this point. Now, as you can see, maybe you can't, there's a lovely curve on the stone wall there. So I'm going to take down these cinder blocks and try to match the curve of the wall with a footing. And this is going to be our shower. This is going to be our bedroom. So all of these have to come down today. So my goal would be to demolish these, stretch the foundation down to here. I must remove that sycamore tree and get the foundation to line up a little bit with the kitchen and this piggery. I don't need to put foundation here because we have the original wall. We'll try to use as much of that as possible and the original stone. I don't think I'll get into here today, but it'd be great if I did. Managed to get into the backfield with the lawnmower, give it a trim. That's going to be our garage down there. Some of these barns I'm going to take down, but in a few years. I just need access at the moment. So looking less like a house, more like a building site every day, which is brilliant. Remember the first time we came here, we actually couldn't get past. There was overgrowth and trees, and we climbed up here on the wall and we just peered in and we saw this beautiful stone wall at the back. Apparently nobody had been there in 30 years, and we kind of fell in love with that. But I could stay here talking about the things I love all day long. But I must put on my anti-vibration gloves, pick up the Kangol, and start digging out the ground. Because if I don't do it, nobody else will. That's all going to stop as soon as we get scaffolding, though. We're waiting on scaffolding off a friend of ours. Very kindly offered us to use it. And as soon as that happens, the slates are going to have to come off the whole house. We're going to re-roof it with rafters. Brand new rafters, because the rafters up there are tiny and rotten. And we have our roofing material has been delivered also. That will be a surprise. So as soon as I get scaffolding, I'm going to stop everything and I'm going to do the roof because the weather's fantastic. So that's the plan for the day. As usual, I'll try you on time lapse. If I come across anything, as another YouTuber says, anything magical or tragical, I shall give you a shout. See ya. As usual, I'm not getting so far. Right under this bag, I think we found a mother load of metal. That's some of it there. There's really big bits of cars, there's wheel drums, there are 2 brake discs I pulled out somewhere. All really old. And they all just seem to be right here, as was probably the way back then. Do a job here, fuck something out the door, do another job, fuck something else out, put an old piece of plastic down, maybe someday it's a pile for the scrap man, and then forget about it. That's my analysis. Good tip is sometimes when you can see kind of sheds or extensions or previous builds, sometimes they're made with one type of stone and right next to it is another type of stone. And I know that these slate stone come from a quarry across the river, but these stones don't. So I would say that these particular rounded stones look more similar to the stones used in the wall here. So I reckon probably came from here. This is where the previous cottage was chiseled out and a lintel put in. So I must repair this, because we are not putting a lintel back in there, and I will use the stones. So, nice bit of recycling. Coming to the end of the second day trying to dig a trench. Foundations. I have a little one dug here. It's just the guide. I left this wall here so I can use it as a form. Once I have it all down to this hardcore level, I'll then figure out the depths and the levels. So before I do that, it has to curve here. So I just took out the wall, haven't started digging yet. And then I thought I'd have a simple job getting out this tree. but the tree didn't look that big. But definitely, because it was cut before, we thought it was only this size, but it's actually more like that size, and the roots are ridiculous. I gave it every power tool I had. I went through about 4 blades on the reciprocating saw. I'd say I went through 1 blade on the chainsaw. I tried to sharpen it, but it didn't take. So I reckon I need a new blade. Sharpened the axe, sharpened the hoe, sharpened everything. But the problem is if you try to get through a root, can you see it? It's grown in around the stones, and then there's bits of wall. So it's proving very hard to get through anything here. Very, very hard. So this morning I got rid of a lot of metal, as you can see. There's still plenty of metal in there. I got a nice little pile. As I said earlier, looks like somebody just chucked it out the door. I don't know, for a rainy day. Maybe they were recycling, because for all of the metal I found right there, this I found every single type of plastic you can imagine. Pots, paint tins, butter containers, milk containers, what's that? Famous one, biscuits. A bread bin. What happens when your bread bin breaks? Just chuck it in the back next to the sycamore. So Claire's going to be home in a minute. We can't really work too much here because the gnats and the midges are crazy once the sun starts to go down. So I might just leave it and start again tomorrow. I wanted to have the concrete poured last night. Then I said, surely I'll get it poured tonight. I haven't even moved this tree, let alone dug out foundations. Very defeated. It's not a pleasant feeling. I have all this material to be built, and I can't start building yet. I'm still clearing, still moving other people's rubbish. Defeated. Let me show you a delivery though we got today, because this is nice. This is the last of our first big order of building material, and this is the larch. We're going to clad the 2 extensions on either side of the house in this larch, and the main house is going to stay pretty much as is with new windows and roof. And there's our new roof, the colour of which I might show you at a later date.